President Ruto is many things, but the one thing he is not is a fool. Because even when he does things that appear foolish, if you do proper investigations, you'll find that he and his friends are somehow profiting from it. And this time round, it seems Ruto wants to extend his time in office by using constitutional loopholes. Kuna tumbinu na njia ambaye ameona nikitumia hii ninaweza kaa hapa for another 4 years or 2 or 3. And in this video I want us to expose what those loopholes are before they are used. Ndo wakijaribu kutumia tukue tukorada na wao. And so with no further ado, let's get after it. Loophole number 1 is boundaries delimitation. Boundaries delimitation is the process of defining, identifying and marking the limits or extent of an area. By law, we ought to have done this some years back, but we haven't. So guess what? Ruto can use that to nullify the 2027 elections. Let's listen to former AG JB Muturi exposing this loophole.
Na nimeambia IEBC, tafadhali move to the Supreme Court to get an advisory opinion which allows you to have a buffer. Kwa sababu hii mtu anaitwa Kasongo anajaribu njia mingi sana sasa hii uchaguzi sasa, kwa sababu kuenda naona kama kuenda nitaenda, lakini how can I stop it? Iko kalupu kamoja nimeona kitu inaitwa boundaries delimitation ya nchi hii ilifanyika last 2011-2012. So we have more than 12 years which is the maximum given in the constitution. Haijafanyika. What does that mean? Mtu ambaye anatafuta ukora governor, si anaweza sema hii uchaguzi vile imefanyika na kwa sababu nimepelekwa nyumbani na over 70% na kimbia kwa tini sema hii uchaguzi haikuwa constitutional kwa sababu hatukuwa tumefanya boundaries delimitation. And you know it's a serious argument. So naambia watu wetu IEBC, in the next 30 days move to the Supreme Court, get an advisory opinion which becomes an anchor and a buffer. So that adweze mtu akishindwa kurudi kutuambia ati hapana, unajua kuna those protected constituencies asikuwa zimeangaliwa, hii haikuwa imefanywa. Tunataka kuzingira kuziba kila pahali kuna pengo lolote. So IEBC, and I've told them, Visibly saying it correctly, I always look for those loopholes zile ambazo zinaweza patikana.
It's good that JB Muturi has talked about this as early as now, because if it ever comes down to delimitation being our stumbling block, the question will then be put to Ithekon and friends as to why they failed to rectify this issue when it was put across to them a whole year before elections. Loophole number 2 is the president declaring a state of emergency. You see, Article 58 of the 2010 Constitution allows the president to declare a state of emergency in certain circumstances. For example, when Kenya is threatened by war, invasion, insurrection, disorder, national disaster, or any public emergency. Meaning if Ruto wants, he can even declare the housing crisis as a national emergency and use that to cancel elections. And now, here comes the interesting part. The declaration of emergency can only last for 14 days, but extending it requires National Assembly approval. The first extension is with 2/3 majority, and the second extension or any other subsequent extension is with 3/4 majority, and they are limited to extending by 2 months. So long story short, akisha declare emergency, amejinunulia 14 days. Ishungwa akipanga watu vizuri pamoja na majority whip Osoro, they can now extend by another 2 months. 2 months ikilapse, they can extend by another 2 months. If they do that 6 times a year, they've extended their time in office by 1 year. And if they decide to amend the constitution in the middle of all that and make it such that each extension is now worth 2 years instead of 2 months, what will people do? That is kicking the can down the road. Ruto will be president for as long as he is popular amongst the members of parliament. And that is easy to do. You just give them money. So that is something else that we need to be cautious about. Ukiona tu wamedeclare sijui emergency ati goons wamekuwa wengi, sijui nini, sijui invasion, sijui tumeenda, hiyo ni mbinu ya kukaa kwa ofisi. Reject it. Loophole number 3 is Erastus Ithekon. Ithekon has already told us that he's willing to cancel elections if he even suspects that violence will be a byproduct of the same. Not my words. Here's what Ithekon had to say quote for quote, and I quote, "I would like to state clearly that IEBC cannot hold elections in a toxic environment. IEBC cannot hold elections in an environment that's full of incitement, division, violence, chaos, and anarchy." So long story short, what Ithekon is telling us is this. Yeye amepea Murkomen mpira, anangojea through pass, acheze kaa yeye. Murkomen na Raymond Omolo Molo wakipanga goons kutokee vita mahali fulani, sijui watu wangapi walivamiwa, walipigwa, wengine walikufa, sijui nini. According to Itheko, now that is the catalyst that he needed to jumpstart his chain of events of cancelling elections, postponing, and then Murkomen anafanya investigation, and then 6, 7, 8 months down the road ndo wanasema now we feel we are ready, we can hold national elections. All for what? To kill the opposition momentum. Wakiona poll ni ukweli inaonyesha ati Ruto wako 10% national, ikuwe ni Kalonzo, Sifuna or Gachagua or whoever ako na 90%, they will stall until they do that poll themselves, waone sasa wananchi wamekufa moyo, imerudi 55-45, now we can hold the elections. So let us not give any space to mambo ya delimitation. It must be done. Ithekon uko na 1 year. Kama hukusikia JB Muturi, hii video iko, tumia mtu yote anafanya hapo IBC, wasiseme hawajui. Number 2, mambo ya kudeclare state of emergency na kutumia majority leader na watu wengine hapo kukick the can down the road, tukorada, hiyo hatutakubali. Mambo ya Ithekon pia kucancel elections because amepewa through pass na Raymond Omolo na Murkomen, the pretext of violence ndo yeye cancel, pia tunaonea 18. Do not try. Better to lose at the ballot than to extend your time in office and lose the whole country. Unajua hii ndo vitu huwa inafanya hata shule zingine zinachomwa. Mwanafunzi ameng'ang'ana Monday kuamuka preps paka usiku, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday amengoja hiyo entertainment atoe stress. Na wewe unakuja una cancel entertainment, unasema Saturday usiku ni hesabu. And then you wonder why the school has been burnt. You are stressing stressed people. Kenyans are also the same. Tumesafa mwaka ya kwanza, ya pili, ya tatu, ya 4, tunangoja ya 5 tutoe hii stress. Na wewe ukikuja ati unatoa hiyo nafasi yetu ya kutoa huu jamaa, the country will not be kind to you. So do the right thing, don't interfere, ensure there is free and fair elections at the right time, at the right place, without ukora yoyote. Let the best man win and the loser ende alie huko kwa choo. Tuendelee na maisha. But anyway, that's just my take on the matter, guys. Do drop me your comments in the comment section below and I'll do best with them to give a response. So with that, here's today's ad of the day. Interior design is one of those things you can't afford to get wrong. So if you're looking for experts to do your gypsum, wainscoting, paintwork, styles, washrooms, and kitchen, reach out to Dhaka Living on 0706 026 218. That's 0706 026 218. And if you're here for the first time, please go on and hit the subscribe button. And if you're watching for a different platform, just head on over to YouTube, search for David Wafula. Hit the subscribe button, you're going to be getting a ton of content of this nature. If politics is something you're passionate about, this is definitely the one channel that you really, really need to subscribe to. Right, guys, adios. Thank you for choosing David Wafula as your primary news platform. We put countless hours in research, recording, and editing. By showing up each and every day to watch our videos, you encourage us to generate more videos for the viewers. We are on a mission to inform, educate, and build a better tomorrow. To our thousands of followers in a world full of presidents, kings, and queens, you are the real gem. Adios.